to see we're sitting on just some wonderful assets here that we can leverage for the future.
Now, we saw a lot of assets, and you mentioned this earlier, in Cleveland, because you were part of the bus tour that we ran to Cleveland. I think last weekend, was that already just last weekend?
2 weekends.
2 weekends ago, I was going to say, I think there's a bit more time there. But you were part of that tour, and you came with your little tape recorder, and you mic'd up a number of the speakers on there, and I saw you taking pictures everywhere, and we're going to look at your pictures in a little bit.
Okay.
But first I wanted to just ask, what did you learn from Cleveland?
Well, my first impressions coming into I'd never been to Cleveland before. It was to Detroit. So you're touring these Rust Belt cities. There's a lot of similarity between the Hamiltons and the Cleveland. What excited me in going into the town right off the beginning, the Central Business District, is it's very large and built to last. I mean, some of those assets are incredible. The product that they were using to build these buildings and monuments to the past. They have a great layout to the downtown area. I think it was developed years ago by the person who developed the Washington Mall. So you have these great public institutions laid out in a very dramatic way in the downtown. So I was very impressed. Interestingly enough, that's juxtaposed with some of the brownfield redevelopment that's awaiting to occur. And it was interesting as the day occurred, and then the next day and the 3 days that we were there, we just noticed that the downtown is very successful, but boy, there's not a lot of people actually living in the downtown. We found that really fascinating.
Yeah, the figure they gave us was that they were very excited to tell us that they had between 15 and 20,000 people now living in their downtown. And for comparison, in the 2011 census, I believe, just the strip that is Ward 2 in downtown Hamilton has just over 40,000 people. So 40,000 versus less than half of that in a city which metropolitan is significantly larger than Hamilton.
Right.
It's an interesting example.
And it was fascinating. It's got many of the assets that we have. It's got the waterfront. They're struggling with access to the waterfront. We don't have that challenge as much as they have. They've got rail lines that are really obstructing and highways obstructing public access to the waterfront. They've got some wonderful assets around their waterfront, but fairly one-dimensional. Yes, they have a stadium and they've got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but maybe a bit more of a mixed use might keep those areas dynamic 24/7.
Yeah, they kind of stand on their own. You have to drive in, and they're not very accessible by foot or really any other means. They're just kind of lined up along the waterfront next to the interstate, and then you got the city. It's a very strange layout.
The whole city is I think people get excited by districts, and I was really excited to see that Cleveland has all of these districts: the theater district, the museum district, the gateway district, the central business area. It's a great way to lay out a city. However, if you're segregating all of those resources and assets into just little pockets of activity, you really don't get the juice that you have when you combine people living, working, and learning in all of your areas of Cleveland.
And that was an interesting thing with Cleveland, is that it is very spread out, and it has these different business nodes. But in the case of Ohio City versus the Central Business District, you've got the Cuyahoga River running in between. You've got the Flats, which are industrial areas. You've got Shaker Heights, which is way out to the southeast, and then you've got University Circle, which is really way down this very long street with BRT running right down the middle. They're not connected in that sense, which is really interesting. Now we have pictures that we want to bring up on the screen here, and talk us through some of these pictures. We're going to bring them up here. Talk us through what we're about to see here. Whenever they come up, there we go.
Well, there's our Saturday, the first stop that we had, Martinez. We had about 40 people on the bus. The first thing that we did on Saturday was to go out to a large public market that is really the hub of the Ohio City experience. I wasn't able to, with my wide-angle camera, to really take in the majesty of that building. You can see that arch ceiling there. I don't know, 50 feet high and all brickwork, and it was wonderful. So that was what we saw when we were welcomed to this market, West Side Market.
That's the West Side Market, yeah. Let's see the next photo. There we go. I love this.
You know, when we think about communities in transition, it's very important to celebrate, recognize, and support the activist community. And often they're younger, and we have the entrenched, and we have people that have been living in our community for years. So this is really where the change happens. So that's commitment to say, give me life in Cleveland or give me death. So certainly that was a parallel for me, and I think about our young entrepreneurs, our Hamilton Hive people in Hamilton that are really pushing for change. So I just thought that was a wonderful picture.
That's a great shirt. Let's see the next photo here.
One of the things in the Ohio City area of Cleveland, just across the river, is the signage, Martinez. It was wonderful to see, and this is a fairly conventional signage, but they would have very decorative signage on the retail assets along the main street, a complete street that would hang out over the sidewalks and attract people to it. And then we learned over the course of the day that actually there's city incentives and people that will help the local entrepreneurs and shop owners develop signage that sets their retail apart. So that was a great takeaway for me, was the emphasis on signage and marketing in a creative way.
Let's move to the next photo here. There we go.
That's just one of the assets. It was interesting. That was in Ohio City. And what's exciting there is these beautiful buildings. When we think about the gentrification of Cleveland in general, they've had about since the 1970s a head start on us. But as a result of all sorts of ways that they can access state, federal as well as municipal incentives, this is the byproduct of protecting your buildings, investing in them, and making sure that they're part of your urban fabric. So that's just off of the main street, a complete street in Ohio City. What a wonderful asset.
Beautiful. We have a few more pictures. We're going to kind of go through these ones quickly. We're running short on time. But
that's in the theater district. Look at all across Cleveland were these beautiful domed ceilings.
And that's Playhouse Square.
That's Playhouse Square.
Let's move to the next
Greco-Roman architecture.
There you go.
Wanted to bring this up. We have renewal happening in our downtown where young entrepreneurs can cobble together money. The type of renewal and the scale of renewal that's happening in Cleveland, you need deeper pockets to buy a building like that and to restore it. So they have all sorts of different assets to different ways of cobbling together money. But in Hamilton, we do it at a different scale. But I just wanted to show you that's the sort of building stock that's in
large
Cleveland.
Properties. Let's see, move to the next photo there. There you go. Yep.
There's your people coming to downtown Cleveland. So historically, many of these high-rises were used by commercial offices. Close them down, retrofit them for people either in apartments or condos living in the downtown. This is happening all across downtown Cleveland, populating the people living downtown.
Yeah, let's go to our second. I think we have second last image now. Oh, that's our last image right there.
Why don't you talk about this?
Okay, this is a cool place. I had the best pickle of my life at this Polish little restaurant. This is out in the inner ring suburbs around Cleveland. Very, very, very poor area. Well, actually, where the American foreclosure wave began, hit in this neighborhood, and just destroyed the area. So a lot of lessons. We're out of time, unfortunately, but so much to learn, so much to talk about and think about. All the best in your work with Renew Hamilton. I know people can go to the website, listen to podcasts from the Cleveland trip, see more photos, lots of material. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you, Martin.